Welcome back to Cobble Chaos. So I'm back to work, and yeah, it's evening now, and I gotta try and find something to do on something in this shop. And I usually just try and set myself up to where I've got just little stuff that I can do, an hour here, hour there, whatever. So I'm thinking I've got all these panels to get prepped out for this trunk in the Le Mans. This panel, I don't know that I really feel like fitting it tonight after working all day or anything, but I can get all the edges cleaned where I need to, I'm going to do all my spot welds and everything and get all that stuff prepped. Just little stuff where you can just kind of brainlessly do some stuff, and same thing up here. I'm going to end up doing this firewall, and I can get that all cleaned up right around where I'm probably going to cut all this out, clean it all up, get it all bare metal. I don't know, maybe even just sometimes just sanding, grinding, and doing stuff. And all these things that needs done, but you can do it after hours. It's not going to kill you, and yeah, it's another step done. That by the weekend, if you get enough little stuff done, you'll be ready for the big stuff. So let's see what I end up doing tonight. So I decided to go ahead and prep some of the stuff in this trunk, and I am right now inside of the trunk on my knees on the floor. But while I was in here, I'm just kind of cleaning up stuff, grinding, and just cleaning up some of the old spot welds and what they'd cut out. But I started thinking I'm probably going to end up like putting like a Raptor liner in here, and it just makes everything nice, tidies it up, seals up any little gaps, whatever. And it doesn't dry. It's not like a cheese grater when it dries. It dries super nice, very nice product. But while I'm in here and I'm through the floor of this car, I'm looking around and like trying to get up under the fenders, up in here and stuff. If the trunk floor is in this, it's going to be hard to get up there and Scotch-Brite, do anything that you want to do to prep. So sitting here, I was just like, well, there's another thing I can do one evening is prep all this stuff for that. So once the floor is in, I can just spray everything and it'll be ready. And again, it's just another kind of brainless thing you can do after work, and it needs done. So no matter, and I mean, yeah, you might not be in the trunk of your car, but it's just wherever you're working on something, look around and be aware and always think a few steps ahead, and just like, is there something I can do now while it's easy before I maybe install the motor, put the transmission in, whatever, or, hang your doors. I mean, there's always a step or two, to look ahead and be like, can I do something now that'll make life a lot easier later on? So just a little something to think about when you're doing this stuff. So I'm prepping this passenger side, I guess is the tank mount and bottom of the trunk floor. Just getting it all cleaned up. I went ahead, I got some spot welds drilled front and back where it's gonna mount in. And then, so you probably saw in a previous video, like this pan, whoever bought these pieces. That's this part here. And I mean, yeah, they're nice and new and everything, but these pieces, there's really nothing wrong with them. They got a little surface rust and everything, but it's like sometimes just because you have a piece doesn't mean to, you really have to put it in there. It's like, if that's good, I wouldn't waste the time and effort, because this is where like projects go amok, and it's like, if it's good and it's solid and everything, don't worry about it just because you got another piece. I mean, and if you're doing a full-on concourse restoration, it's got to be perfect, then yeah, that's a whole different ball game. But when you're just the garage shop mechanic, and you're just trying to make a cool hot rod for the summer, don't create more work for yourself just because you don't want to lose that $20 that you spent on a piece. So now you're going to be in hours of fabrication. So keep that in mind. Well, another thing about, kind of coming out and starting to do something in the evening, some of this little prep work kind of get you in the groove again, to where you start feeling it and you start working. So naturally, I started kind of looking at this pan to just see what it'd take to fit, and I thought it was going to fit a lot better than the other one. But the way this thing is bent, and there's a huge gap. I mean, it doesn't really fit tight at all on this fender, and this fender is actually shaped pretty much the way it was from the factory. So instead of beating this thing around, I think I'm going to make a filler piece, and somebody had already they cut this whole ear off. I don't know why they did that, but so I think I'm going to build like a This lip in here, I'll probably do a slice here and flatten it out and probably weld on a new lip that I can spot weld in when I get it all fit. There'll be a new filler piece up here and just try and get that tightened up. And then this back here, looks like that is hitting into the fender. And this shape is pretty close, but I think this is gonna have to be rolled back to get this forward. And then I was looking, they didn't leave much. Some reason that one was like full length and it'll come all the way up to the lip here. This one, they cut that whole piece off, so I don't know why they did that. And I should have looked at this before I got started, so at least everything would be even. But once it's all welded in, you shouldn't really be able to tell. And it's a trunk, so oh well. But yeah, so if I got to slide this forward, it's getting real close to the rusty stuff on that edge there, so I may end up having to do a little something back here. So but yeah, nothing too big, but it's just something, again, with these aftermarket panels, they are not close at all to your factory stuff, and your factory stuff isn't what it used to be. So if you got to add to them, cut them, slice them, mold them around, I mean, they're just kind of a rough out for what you need, but you may as well make it nice and tight and make it fit the way it should. And it's not that big a deal to beat some sheet metal around. It bends pretty easy. So yeah, don't be afraid to try. Okay, well, I think I'm about done for the night. I don't know, it's maybe been an hour and a half or so. But I went ahead, I got this other mount tacked in here and everything for that, so that's done. Got everything all cleaned up in the trunk and kind of ready to go. I kind of cleaned up this this little corner in here. There's going to be a little patch in there. I don't know what was going on. It looks like some rust in there, but so yeah, and I dug out some sheet metal and stuff that I had laying around that I just had it laying here, so when I do come out, I don't got to dig around, and I'll have that for doing that. And then to do that filler piece on the patch, the floor patch, where I want to fill that gap in, I went ahead and I took a piece of cardboard, whatever I did, all right. So I took a piece of cardboard and set it in here, and basically got my gap there, and then I transferred it onto a piece of sheet metal, and this is the actual cardboard cutout, and I'm leaving this lip here so that I can hopefully bend that and get a little spot weld lip on there when I put this up. So that's ready to go, because then whenever I set it up to my floor pan, I can trim this excess off, weld it onto that floor pan. That'll fill that gap in super nice. And it's just a lot easier than beating and manipulating that pan around. I don't think there's enough metal on it to fill that in. So, but yeah, that's a good start on that. Kind of the same thing. I went ahead and kind of just prepped up this firewall here. Got it all cleaned up. Same thing. I found a piece of sheet metal. I'm not doing anything with it tonight, but it's here. So when I come out, I can get straight on it. And then, yeah, I still got to rip out. There's some of this firewall backing in here. All this will come out when I get in there, and I'll probably put some Dynamat or something. That definitely does help with some sound deadening. So, but yeah, so a lot of this is just kind of prepping and just kind of, you know, to where when you come out, you don't got to fight with anything. It's like everything's kind of ready. So every night I'll try and set myself up to where it's like the next day I come in, I kind of got a few things to do, you know, so I've got, like over the weekend, this is the 8.8 that's going to go in the Falcon, and it's sitting here. So if I want to come out and cut the brackets off, get it prepped, it's here. It's ready to go. I don't got to drag it out and strain myself after hours. I got a table full of more parts over there I got to clean up for the 454. And I did find out on this motor I actually know the guy that kind of helped build the Blazer it came out of, and he says this is a 70 454, so which is good. So yeah, a little more information, a little bit of the puzzle coming together. So I'm still waiting. I got to get my flex plate and a few other things for it. But yeah, everything is kind of coming together, and it's just little by little. And I mean, kind of with my cobbled chaos, you know, you'll notice I bounce around a lot. And I mean, there might be a day I am just sick and tired of working on the Le Mans. It's like, I'm going to do something on the Camaro, or maybe I'll jump over onto the Falcon and just, you know, there's little rust patches that for some reason have been bothering me and I want to fix them. So maybe I'll jump on it and do a little on that. Maybe I'll cut up this rear end. I don't know, but it's like when I walk in the shop, I try and go with what I'm feeling. And if I come out with the intent to work on the trunk and I look at it and it's just not telling me to work on it, I'll find something else. I might just sweep the floor and walk around and get some ideas, and maybe a new idea will pop in my head. But just try and go with the flow and have fun with this stuff. And if you're not feeling it that night, then you know what? Do it tomorrow night. It's not a big deal. But that's why I like doing these little, hour, 2 hour little jaunts after work. If you have nothing else going on, come out and just grind some metal, do a little something. And when you come out again, it's ready to go. So, yeah, I guess this really wasn't too much about fabrication or anything tonight, but it's just a little bit of, hopefully some of these tips or pointers will do you some good and not get you so that you're so upside down in your project or so overwhelmed, yeah, just don't tear the car completely apart. Do it in little pieces, and just kind of go as you can and as you can afford. So, and another thing too, if you guys want to see more of the work that I do, I can video it more, but there's a lot of this stuff is just tedious grinding, and I don't know, it's like we've all seen it before. If there's something super special I'm doing, I definitely will videotape it and show you. If there's some shortcut or anything that might help you guys, I definitely will do that. But some of this tedious stuff, if I know when I watch videos, I get bored watching it. So, you've seen one, you've seen it all. So it's kind of, but if you do want to see more, please comment, tell me what's going on, what you guys want to see more of. So, I hope that everybody can get something out of this. So thanks for subscribing. We really appreciate it. And we're going to keep on trucking on these projects.